Yesterday was a good day for the Throne and Liberty community because we got this video, the creator roundtable that was announced a couple of weeks ago, where Aragon, Grubs, Tico and Wells talk about different topics related to the game. In this video, I'm going to share my opinion about some of the topics that they talk about either in this video or the individual interviews between Grubs and Tico and Aragon and Tico. We are missing the one with Wells because there is some relevant information missing that in theory is going to happen in this interview. But let's talk about what we know so far. And I'm going to do it just in a Welps way. With a notepad, this is my notes, and this is what I'm going to talk about. So first, the guess. We know Aragon, he's always posting about updates, about some tools, sometimes about theory crafting. We know Grubs, he's the one that maybe posts less than the others, but when he does, he gives a lot of details. You cannot miss his content because he's always back with a lot of details and you always learn something. And we know Welps, he's always streaming. In fact, he's streaming right now because he's attempting the nightmare mode. So we all know them, but I'm missing someone here. This spot right here. I'm missing someone more focused into PvP because all of them focus mostly in PvE. And that's one side of the game. We need representation of on the other side, the PvP. And to be honest, I don't know who could be sitting here representing that area because I don't know who is the biggest influencer in that area. But definitely I'm missing someone with more, not really more experience, just more interest into the PvP side of the game. Because many questions were not asked related to PvP. And I think they should have asked more things related to PvP. So having said that, the first thing we know, the Hyperboost. Hyperboost is coming, they spoke somewhere at the beginning, but what I'm basically going to say about this is that we will reach a point where we have around 6.5k year score, which is more or less what the average player have right now. Some people have more, of course, but more or less we are sitting around that. And the problem with the Hyperboost is that I am missing two things. First, as they said, they are all going to try the Hyperboost. I will. Probably all members of my guild will. Probably every player will. And what's the problem with that? That will lead to empty servers. So yes, Hyperboost is good, but it may be a double-edged sword. Let's wait for this to check how this all turns out. And secondly, we have the problem of the toxicity in this game. This game is toxic by design. I don't know what the hell is going on with this community, but it's toxic as fuck. So, having all people grouped together in a single server, I don't know how this is going to fight in one way or another. So probably I'm expecting, tryhards like, you cannot play this class even though it's an Hyperboost because I want to kill this or that faster just to get the most benefit from the hyper, whatever. But I'm expecting some high toxicity in the Hyperboost server. Next topic, the tier 3 items. Yes, they were announced. And I don't know why some people act surprised by that. I posted this video 3 weeks ago, almost 4 actually, on July 28. And it was obviously that new items were coming because, as I said in this video, if the Goblin's event was running for so long, it only meant two things. First, they were trying to be sure that everyone was ready for the nightmare mode. And secondly, new items were coming. I wasn't expecting to be a new tier of item. I was expecting in this video just that we could wear more heroic items instead of 100 more piece, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But it turns out it's a new tier of items, but important, we still have the heroic as the best items that we can get. So remember, heroics are a long-term investment. Don't forget that. It doesn't matter if someone got more luck in their rolls, it doesn't matter because it's a long time investment. Okay. Another good thing related to tier 3 items is that they are making tier 1 areas relevant again, because tier 3 items are going to be dropped by the older bosses. By Nirma, Cornelius, whatever, Aelon, whatever. I don't know if all bosses or only some of them. I don't know that. And also from some new co-op dungeons. But what's important is that they are making Laslan and Stonegard relevant again. And this is very good because usually we are not going to that area unless it's for a goblin event. And also, in the future, this was discussed in this one, if I recall correctly, they have plans to upgrade the dungeons. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. I hope Sileus get upgraded because Sileus is the biggest dungeon in this game. And probably that will be one of the contenders for that. I think they mentioned this was for Q4, but I'm not so sure right now, okay? Then let's talk about the orb. Yes, we have a lot of information now about the orb. How it is going to be used. We don't know still the skills, the specialization, whatever. We know the range is going to be the same as the crossbow. And we know that we have 3 orbs that we need to place around, and we can create areas of effects or whatever. But what I'm going to say about the orb is that a comment that, if I recall correctly, was Welp, who said that it looks like a very skill-based weapon. And Tico also answered to that with yes, and everyone will play orb because everyone thinks that they are the most skillful player. And yeah, this is going to be a funny mess because, you know, everyone will try it. But contrary to the spear, if it is really a skill-based game, a skill-based weapon, you know, there is going to be a difference between those who can make it work and those who cannot. Meanwhile, with a spear, you only press two keys and you basically kill everyone. So let's wait for this, and I'm really looking forward to test it. The problem with me is that I wanted to test it probably with crossbow, as Tico said, or maybe dagger, but I have the heroic one, so I don't know, maybe one orb. Let's see. Another important thing related to the orb, which is actually the most concerned thing for me, is that Tico says something like he likes to have kind of a noob weapon at the beginning and then balance and nerf it. And I don't know, we have the experience already with the spear. As I was saying, everyone was just killing everyone with 2 hits, 2 skills basically. So I don't really share that vision. I really hope it's not that unbalanced. Even though you require to be skillful to use it, I only hope that this is somewhat not as overpowered as it seems to be. But again, we can only tell when it's released. Okay, this topic, no heroic sync. some people are really mad about this. In my opinion, I agree with this. Yes, I'm fucked by this because as I was saying, I have the heroic one and I wanted to play probably crossbow orb. But what I'm going to do with my one? I already have the best weapon in the one. What I'm going to do? I'm going to hinder myself by playing a tier 2 or tier 3 weapon? This is a problem, but it makes sense because it's an heroic weapon, a unique weapon. It doesn't make sense that something that powerful suddenly has something at the same level just by thinking it. So yes, I do agree with this. Tico said that eventually we will get more and more and more materials to have a second, third, fourth weapon, whatever. But I do agree with nothing with this, even though I'm impacted as everyone else. Then we have the DPS meta. I really hate this. Yes, it's personal. But again, this community is the most toxic I have ever seen in a game. So I'm expecting something like, send me a screenshot of your DPS. Send me a video of your DPS. Otherwise, you cannot get invited to this or that party, whatever. It's going to happen because the community, as I say, is very toxic. Two good things that are coming. Rune presets and the artifact system is getting overhauled. Basically, the rune presets are going to be tied to your equipment loadout, so basically just everything, and the artifacts are just getting overhauled because the system is a mess basically. So this is going to be simplified, not really as the runes as Tico said, but something that you don't really need to open 1,000 chests anymore, so that's good. So far, this has been all related to more or less PvE content or character progression. And I missed these two topics. First, the Tidal Tower and Gate of Infinity. Nothing was said about this, and let's be honest, this is dead content. When everyone is killing the boss in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, it doesn't promote a challenging environment. This should take longer. The first position maybe should be 30 seconds, 40 seconds. A fight that really takes longer, that is not just use 2 or 3 skills and kill the boss. This will lead to a better and healthier competition, in my opinion. And then there was no mention to the chores. I don't know about you, but I'm sick of running looking for mystic loaves. I'm sick of repeating the same dungeons over and over again just to get abyssal tokens to earn mastery. We need to find a better system for that, because it doesn't matter if you have Da Vinci, you still need to do those things, and that sucks, basically. But I'm really curious that no one mentioned that, or maybe I missed that. But I think no one mentioned that. So let's switch to PvP. First, Battlegrounds. Sure, we all were waiting for this. However, my biggest fear was confirmed. It was in... I don't remember if it was in this one or the one between Grubs and Tico. But basically, Tico said that Tico replied to Grubs that the game will not start until the 48 players are in the queue. What's the problem with this? It's not going to be a problem the first week, the second week, maybe the first month. After that, this is dead content. No one will play Battleground after that, because you need to wait for 48 players queuing at the same time. And this is not going to happen. It's not happening now with Arena. Arena was kind of fine with 3 versus 3, and when it became 6 versus 6, no one is playing anymore. It's a dead content. And the same will happen with the Battlegrounds. I have been saying this for a lot of time. Battlegrounds should not be like another lobby simulator. It should be something more like a dynamic content. You hop in, play whatever you want to play, and then hop out. And this leads to this. There was no mention about anything related to Nebula. However, this would have been a good thing if they merge both things. Nebula, as it is right now, is actually a very boring content because you don't really need to farm Nebula anymore. Maybe you are missing some accessory, but Nebula lost its appeal. People are not really going there anymore, or just go to have some PvP, but it lost its appeal. Okay, so we need to do something with Nebula to make it a spicy thing again. And if another a thing I have been proposing for some time is make Nebula a battleground area, but a faction area. You basically go to Nebula, and I don't care if you are in my guild or not. I don't care if you are in my alliance or not. We are team red or blue. We are team Arcune and team resistance, whatever. And it's basically the battleground as they define it. 5 areas that you need to hold control, etc. And you get points for killing others depending on how much points you are controlling, etc. But instead of waiting for 48 players to do that, you just go there, play 5 minutes, play 10 minutes, play 2 hours, and leave. That's it. A constant system is always running. The problem with this is what I was saying. We will need to wait for the queue. It will lead to unbalance because Tico was really like, I don't know what was he thinking. He was very optimistic because I don't remember if it was Aragon the one who asked it and said, okay, and how are you doing? How are you going to deal with the people living in the middle of the fight? And Tico's response was like, well, we expect that people will not be leaving, but they will. Everyone will leave. If you are losing, no matter if you have mechanics that may turn the tides, people will leave. If you are losing, people will leave, and that will only lead to more unbalanced things and whatever. So I don't know. The system itself is good. The game mode itself is good, but the way to implement it is not good from my opinion. We're going to have a new PvP coin that is going to be earned in the battlegrounds and in any other PvP activity, and we can spend those coins in a PvP shop. And this is important because we can actually progress our character just by doing PvP content. Likewise, people who only do PvE content can progress at the same level. Basically, if you do both, you will get advantage, of course, because you are progressing. Maybe not twice, but you are having more progress. But if you are only interested in either PvE or PvP, you will reach a point in where you are at the same level that someone who is doing only the other thing. So this is good. Then we have the other controversial topics. Alliance down to 2. Yes. And you know what? This is not going to do anything. People have been claiming this since the game was released. Circ this, circ that, blah blah blah. I have been in a shadow alliance of 12 guilds for, I don't know, for a month. And it's completely irrelevant, this change. People will keep doing shadow alliance. It's going to happen. Because that's what it is. People just will make packs. You win now, I win tomorrow. Whatever. But this change is not going to do anything. Also, people are assuming that if you are the top alliance and you need to break up now, they will fight between them. No, they will not fight between them, because this is what we have been seeing since the beginning of the game. PvP guilds complain about PvP content, but they avoid the conflict. So this is not going to lead anywhere, in my opinion, but we will see. Then in Aragon interview, I didn't really watch Aragon interview, but I watched his question here, and there is one where he asked about a new siege map, and it seems that it's going to be answered by Whelps at some point, but he's streaming now. I was expecting a video, but well, he's back streaming. In theory, there was a question related to the siege. What we don't know yet is if we will have a new siege, if we will have concurrent siege, or if nothing is happening. I'm pretty sure something is happening regarding the siege, especially related to this. Probably we will have like 2 concurrent siege or something like that. And this is in theory good, because you will see the best guilds are going to fight for the top castle, and the smaller guilds are going to fight for the smaller castles. Like in Lineage 2, top clans back there fought for, for Adem, for Rune, for whatever, and the smaller for Dion, Gludio, etc. But I think this is not what's going to happen here. What will happen here? If it's really like this, what's going to happen is, as I was saying, the alliance of 4 was split up. Okay, 2 are going for one of the castle, the other 2 are going for the other castle. They will not fight between each other. Again, rendering this split irrelevant. But this is just theory crafting, because we don't know yet what does this mean. So let's wait for that. And this is why one of the reasons why I was saying also that we missed someone related to, or more focusing to PvP in the roundtable. There was no question related to PvP balance or whatever. And there was no question related to the Boonstones and to the Riftstones. And this is a dead content nowadays. I'm playing in Emerald. And I don't remember when was the last time I had a fight. Honestly, a proper fight. Not something that we are stomping or we are getting stomped. Because even counting that, maybe it has been 3 in the past 2 months. So this is a dead content. I look at the map when the Boonstone and Riftstone are happening and no one is fighting. No one. So something has to be done related to this. And the solution is not the last point. There was no mention to server merge either. But I think it's not the solution for this. Because as I said, I'm playing in Emerald. And Emerald is a very alive server. And I suppose the other servers, at least in Europe, are saying, not all, but Zephyr is alive probably. Judgment as well, Arcan as well, Fortune as well. Of course, Paola is going to be very dead because it's a PS server. I think Talon and Obsidian are, but the others are probably fine. I'm playing an Emerald, okay? As I was saying, it's just very alive. In fact, you have issues finding a proper farming spot during prime time. So, a server merge is not a solution for this. Maybe make the Boonstone and Riftstones always inter-server. I don't know, but something has to be done with this. So this is it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.